not even gonna do it.
Do whatever you want to do. You know that.
I know. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us on Paranormal Brew. Um, and for November to Remember, which is for my guest tonight, um, Jason Hall from Ghost Hunters, as if he needs an introduction. um, I say all the time that you are, I mean, like, I know the generation before us looked up to like the Holzers, Hans Holzer and John Zaffis and this and that. But for me, I feel like your generation of, if you will, quote unquote, the Godfather of the paranormal.
Jeez, well, that's a big label to put on me there. And I mean, even in the time you've talked to us, I think you've gotten to know that I'm just a down to earth guy, just trying to
You really
figure out what's truly going on, and willing to listen to all different views as long as they're not so far out there. It's ridiculous, but and I think that's what's always made us different is that we've always been looking for the truth, whether it's paranormal or not.
right. Yeah, and I remember early on, I think you
All right, I
know,
already got to give a shout. Kenny Biddle's calling me old. That means I'm gonna have to go to Pennsylvania on Thanksgiving, kick his ass. I mean, it's like, come on.
yeah. I mean, are you older than him?
I have no idea. I mean,
No.
he definitely looks 20 years older than me, though.
He
That's
does look 20 years old.
that's what Rumble do to you. No,
He's so stressed. He's always so stressed out trying to prove everybody wrong.
you know what? No,
No, I say that to joke around with him.
no, I know, and I think Kenny's always. I mean, I have always respected Kenny. He's been a friend for, geez, since honestly back when I first started Ghost Hunters, because we've always respected each other and the way we both look at it. I think people like Kenny, especially Kenny, there's a huge area in the field that could benefit from people who are willing to really be down that line and always looking for the explanation. I think it's great to have people like that.
I absolutely love. I've worked with people that didn't want Kenny around, and me and him have talked about this. Um, I don't know why that is. I love having not just Kenny, but people like Kenny, but more so Kenny because to me, he's like so smart and knows his stuff. I love having him with me on investigations.
And I would think the only people who really wouldn't want him around were people who were either didn't want their beliefs challenged or were I mean truly had something to hide. The fact of the matter is I want everything I say challenged because I want to be able to know if what I'm saying or what I'm doing is right or if there's ways that I can improve on what I'm doing. And I think so. Again, having people like Kenny around, I think, is very beneficial to the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also have to give a shout out. This is Ajing Sardi. She's from Indonesia. Right now it's 2 a.m. there.
Hello.
And,
Thanks for staying up.
yeah, and she watches and so I just had to say hi to her really quick. So I got into the paranormal stuff late. I brought up we talked before we came on and I brought up your book Ghost Files about and how you got into it. Now, have you always had something or did it what
No, I don't know. I don't think so. There was just, and honestly, I never really thought about the paranormal much. I was so focused on everything else. I was a guy who I became a father really young. My wife was really young. I mean, we were still in high school when we had our oldest daughter now, was Samantha. So we were always just focused on just looking ahead, and I never really thought much about the paranormal, not until I started having my own experiences, and that's kind of what took somebody who I can't say I was a non-believer, but I can't say I was a believer because it was just one of those things I never really thought about. And when I saw some stuff and had my own experiences, I tried to look and tried to read books and tried to look for any information on how these things were possible. And to be honest with you, all I found was garbage. I found things of people trying to sell memberships to view their pictures of orbs, which you can create by slapping a pillow in the dark and taking a picture and all these other things. And it just seemed like there were so many charlatans in the field, people selling, to become a professional ghost hunter. How the hell do you become a professional ghost hunter? And how
Right.
does anybody actually sell something like that? So from there, it's just I figured, you know what, I can't find any real information to help guide me, so I'm just gonna try to figure it out myself.
Yeah. So here you are. You guys are Roto-Rooter, right? And
Well,
then
actually, back then I was a technician. A lot of people. So I went from I was in the computer programming field. My father was a computer programmer. I was in the computer programming field. I used to build computers, and then I got in the automotive industry, and I excelled more in their computer aspects and fixing and repairing and diagnosing computers. I did that for a long time until, geez, somewhere around 30. If I finally just said, I can't, this is so repetitive, it's just boring, there's no challenge. And my father in law said, well, why don't you try plumbing? And I go, plumbing? I don't want to be a plumber. And he said, yeah, ride me for a week or two and see what you think. And it was nice because every day was something different. I was problem solving. I was trying to figure it out. I could come in. I could break down somebody's wall to find a leak in the wall and fix it. And so it became every day was different. I wasn't always going to the same place. I wasn't always doing the same job. And honestly, I loved it. And being a plumber in New England, I mean, we're never going back to the outhouse. It's recession free, and so it's one of those things where you'll always have a job.
now, but you also then when you got into the paranormal stuff, I'm sure you used some of your knowledge from all of that to be able to, when you went into private homes and stuff like that, and people are having issues. I mean, I'm sure you were able to apply some of that
Oh,
to.
absolutely, absolutely. Especially, coming from a family that I have people in the construction industry and everything else, and getting into the field back then. Of course, I mean, because you'd have people thinking that their lights flickering were the sign of a ghost, or their toilet, their fill valve kicking on at midnight is a sign that their dead Uncle Fred, who used to be a plumber, is trying to let them know that he's there, and it's not. So I mean, we found everything right down to mice and chipmunks living in people's walls, chewing on wiring that were
Oh
coming
wow.
out of them. So we even had people try to trick us, where we had a man at one point build a speaker into a wall and trying to tell us that a ghost was communicating, all because he was hoping to get on the show. I don't know if you remember show Sightings, but Sightings was one of the original like shows. They covered all the paranormal and stuff, and he wanted to get his house on that. So yeah, I mean, my background in electronics and things of that nature, I think, really came in handy to try to really disprove a lot of claims.
I also remember. Let me. So there's somebody said that I sound weird when I talk. I don't know.
You've sounded weird as long as I've known you. So
Which is probably why you love hanging out with me, right?
yeah, that's
um, but there was also another show I remember when you guys went out to. Me and you talked about it. Where there was a a brewery, a restaurant where you guys
Moon River Brewery out in California. No,
where
no, Blue Moon Brewery. Yeah, it was one. Yeah, I think it
yeah,
was Moon River. Yeah.
I remember you guys like found like the thing behind the mirror.
Built
Uh,
speakers. He had speakers in the ceilings. He had
had-
images built into the mirror in the restroom. They had chandeliers set up where chandeliers would start to move due to an air piston that they had in the ceiling. So yeah, I mean the list of people and that's the thing. Most of the times when you go to people's homes, people will misinterpret what's going on and think it's paranormal, and you're able to disprove it. Where some of these businesses, they're purposely trying to do things in hopes that it'll draw attention and bring people in. And you always need to take that into consideration any investigation you go on. Most of the time, homeowners, they're misunderstanding, and you're able to help them. But businesses, sometimes some of them have hidden agendas, and you always need to think outside the box when it comes out of that.
well, that's got to be so frustrating, though. And how do you?
When you travel 3,500 miles across the country to when you could have stayed on the East Coast helping out families that needed you or something like that to go 3,500 miles. But you know what? So Sci-Fi didn't want to air that show, and we fought to have them air it because we wanted the world to see that there's people out there who'll do this to you as well. It's not always a ghost. It's not always paranormal. Sometimes there is trickery. There's somebody trying to fake stuff, and we felt it was important to show that. Now, of course, they had to edit a lot of the things I said to the individual when we were sitting across the table because I was pissed. I'm not going to lie, I was pissed, and so but yeah, I think it was great because it showed that you need to always keep your eyes open.
And
You need to think.
and that is, I don't know. I hear a little feedback too. I don't know why, but I'm gonna.
Kenny's asking, what is the worst hoax you have uncovered?
Mm.
Well, I mean,